All right, so as I said, we're going to be doing the Haltech Elite 1500 with the appropriate jumper harness, and we're also going to be throwing in the Outsider Garage drive-by-wire kit. So we talked about some of that earlier in one of the previous episodes, but now we're kind of going to get into the old meat and potatoes of it. So everything comes exceptionally well packaged and labeled. It literally tells you, like, this on the back is a throttle body harness. This one is the drive-by-wire pedal harness, and it comes with these little business card looking things that tell you the pinout on what's supposed to go where. And then also we've got this really nice pedal mount, so you can take the 350Z style pedal and adapt it to fit the FD, so that's going to be freaking perfect. And then obviously some laser etching here with the Outsider Garage, and then this fully adjustable RX-7 billet pedal, which is super nice. So very excited to get this together. So got to get in the depths of this thing's bottom neath, I guess. Car was originally fitted with a Power FC. We're gonna get rid of that. So if anybody wants to buy that off of us, let us know. We'll sell it. The FC's got to come out. The peripheral nonsense that was connected to that have to come out, and then wiring setup for the Haltech to meet the various sensors, to include flex fuel, boost control, wideband, and yeah, what's the other one I said? Boost control, flex fuel, wideband, obviously regular oil sensors, air temp, oil pressure. All those are going to be kind of retrofitted, but we're going to be swapping out sensors to some new news, so we're good to go there. Yep, motor's not back yet.
Hey, it's Thursday night. We just locked the doors, ready to do the pre-assembly video for R-Tuned. It's Easter long weekend, so we are going to finish this up and then be done and hopefully get shipped out Tuesday when we get back. What we have here is the full stud kit laid out, the gears that have been drilled and chamfered with the new bearings, the new spring for the front cover, machine flywheel, system oil pump chain, oil modifications there, stud holes all around. What I was really impressed by was how good the secondary ports turned out, considering the first ones were kind of dog shit. Same with the primaries and the runners. Rotor housings cleaned up great. Stud holes, primary port, runner, race clearance rotors, all the seals and springs, race apex seals and springs, corner seals, side seals, springs, oil seals, ready to rock.
So really going to do some chassis work, get this thing all set up. So easy enough. I'll have you guys following along to see what is going to happen with this setup. So again, it's pretty well self-explanatory. I'm going to talk about some of the details of the Haltech kit to make sure that you're ready to install it. There has been times in the past where this has bit me, where I didn't open this guy up and read the instructions like you're supposed to, and there's some dip switches and things like that, or some various pins that may need to be swapped so that it will fit the appropriate chassis that is designed. So it'll tell you straight on the bag, you know, what it's made for. You know, it straight up tells you what series RX-7. So this is a series 7/8. If you get the wrong harness, yeah, no worky. So pay attention to what harness you're ordering. Part number on this little guy, I can't even see it, it's being hidden. So part number on this little guy, just in case you're wondering, HT141329. So RX-7 Series 7 sequential turbo, Series 8 sequential turbo, Series 7 single turbo, and Series 8 single turbo, which is obviously what we are getting into. So that's HT141329.
Ugh, idiot.
Yeah, probably don't need to put that away, but we'll get into the readings. Either way, we got some goodies inside of here. You know, got some extra pins, some stickers, a little cable to hook up for your interfacing and updating, and then obviously your quick start guide and your wire diagram. So very important, again, as always, you pay attention to your wire diagrams and such, because because it's going to have important information about how to set your stuff up, you know. Very cool, very cool. So, SPIs, DPOs, installation. Yeah, Elite 1500, 2500 quick start guide. So, yep, we'll get that set up, powered up, checked up. And then obviously we'll take a look at our diagram, instructions, and all that. And then one of the things that I really like to do for our customers is once this thing is all set up, wired up, and functional, if there's any variation. So for example, if we end up repurposing pins or readouts or whatever, I'll make little stickers and I'll overwrite.
Had the picture in the pickup truck, you know, of us on the roller coaster. Right, and the old man comes home drunk, and he's like, "What the fuck is this picture, you know? Were you on a roller coaster? Did you leave the truck?" I fucking quit goat thinking. I go, they fucking superimposed me, man. What the fuck do you want from me? You know what the old man says? He says, oh, okay. He's walking away. I hear him go, "What superimposed?" That fucking moron! That fucking moron!
That's on there so that if you end up needing to troubleshoot, you know, you'll have access to that. The other side of that though is that the ECU stores all of that information inside, so you'll be able to basically just click your wiring locations and all that stuff. So yeah. All right, application notes. So just like I was talking about, there's a setup for these little dip switches they call, or jumper IDs.
Whoa! Neo, you scared the bejesus out of me.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Is that?
The Matrix? Yeah.
Do you always look at it encoded?
Well, you have to. The image translators work for the construct program.
So it says the RX-7 plug-and-play adapter harness capable of being configured for use with an Elite 1500 or 2500. Oh. All right, so having some fun confusing myself with all the wirings. So I'm just going to start over again because, you know, I'm feeling kind of stupid. I was reading one diagram, looking at the wrong plug, and messed up some colors. So let's not do that. So left hand, I've got the throttle body. Right hand, I've got the pedal. So we're just going to start at the top, and first pin we're looking for is pin number 4. What goes where. So now I have exact pins, exact locations to take from the Outsider Garage kit and integrate directly into my Haltech Elite 1500 or 2500. So super awesome. Thank you, Steve. All right. So again, now that I have that, kind of don't really need this because it shows me all the goods. But still, nice to haves, nice to haves, nice to haves. So yeah, I'll go ahead and just leave that in this bag. Again, QR code, can't go wrong. Yeah, so basically, once you hit that QR, it'll take you to the Outsider Garage website under drive-by-wire installation help, and then you'll basically, there's a whole reference of different ECUs. You click on the one you want and it brings up the diagram for the one you need. So nice. All right. So let me see. This is, again, always the fun part, having to tap into these. You know, not a whole lot of servicing loop, and then these heat shrinks have that glue, so they're holding it pretty snug. But again, I can usually go on about my way and get this stuff slid back to where I can tap in. So a couple different things are going to be shared. Pin 2 is a sensor, is a 5-volt sensor ground, which is shared, and then yeah, your TPS 1 and 2 signals are basically going to be looped. Your signal grounds are going to be looped, and that's really it. So yeah, figure out how I want to do this. Is that all the way down? I think it is. Anyway, nope, we're not going to use this chair. We're going to use my Gucci chair because it's taller. All right, let me test. Testing. Can you see? Can you see? Okay. Let's see. Well, gloomy, rainy day, heading out to Adel to work on Project Midnight, and it's kind of funny. The other day, I walked out and the front wiper on the K truck was like twisted. So basically, what happened is I put the wipers up and they'd come up. On the way down, it was like too much grip, and the blade would completely cock sideways and is twisting. So it doesn't want to stay straight, but you know, with some zip ties you can fix anything, right? So K-Truck has officially been drift stitched to at least get me to the parts store to buy a new blade. Let's see. One of the things that we're doing to this FD is upgrading to drive-by-wire, and we're using the Outsider Garage kit, which is super nice. So it comes with lots of little things. I've showed them multiple times so far, but this is simply a interior plate that bolts to the car and allows the 350Z, essentially pedal, to bolt in and be in the proper location. So that's something we're going to have done today. In the meantime, one of the things that I was trying to do before is, you know, isolate any issues with wiring before they become an issue. So previously I had gotten the jumper harness kit from Haltech and was sent the wrong one by mistake. So basically, depending on what year FD you have, there's a series number. A lot of you Mazda dudes know all this stuff. Us GTR guys, yeah, we're a little slow when it comes to that. Anyway, I thought I knew what year this was when I ordered parts, and evidently I put a wrong number in there somewhere. So I got a Series 7 jumper harness kit originally when I truly needed a Series 6. So fixed that, ordered up the Series 6. So I had wired up everything and was working wonderful. Well, little did I know when I plugged that into the car, it's not going to work. So I'll have to change some little dip switches, little jumper pins inside of this to make it fit the application. So it'll tell you on the packaging what series, and then it'll tell you Series 6, single turbo, twin turbo. It says 2500 plug and play, but that's also the 1500, which is what we're running, Elite 1500. And then it gives you an intake air temp sensor and some other nonsense, right? So basically I just have to change the pins inside of here to let the ECU know whether I'm running the twin turbo system or a single turbo system. So we'll take care of that. But nonetheless, from the original, just so I didn't have any setbacks, because the jumper harness from the ECU to the little black box here is exactly the same, I went ahead and integrated that into my main harness. So now this is the chassis harness that's going to go to the factory wiring. So I want all of this stuff to basically sit seamless. So one of the things I like to do before I do the install, because the last thing I want to do is take it back out, is do a continuity test or check that I have my pin out proper. So when you get your diagram, it gives you all the connector layouts and rundowns and such like that. It gives you the drive-by-wire basically line out saying, you know, you have to use AVI2 for TPS1, AVI3 for TPS2, AVI4 for accelerator position, pedal position 1, and then AVI5 for pedal position 2. Now, if you don't do it that way and you're still using an AVI, I mean, I guess it is what it is. It'll still function as long as you tell the ECU. But when a manufacturer gives you a pretty simple rundown, you just use what the manufacturer says. So
when I get back in, you better have the horn section figured out. I can't work like this. It's 2 on and 2 out. Bonds is up again. Swung on. Ooh, foul down the right field line. It struck the ball girl. Knocked her cold. Today's game, by the way, is brought to you by the American Court Corporation.
Boys absorbed a lot of voltage.
and then also, you know, to make life easy, when you go to the Outsider Garage website and you click on installation instructions or such like that, it will give you a printout, basically a PDF version of the Haltech wiring diagram just for drive-by-wire. And then what they've done there is they went in and they just kind of put in red what pins are what on the Outsider Garage harness. So literally all I did was kind of transcribe that into a flow chart that I could follow. And, you know, I went line by line, pin by pin. So the last one that I tested was on the pedal, which is this little gray plug here. So pin 6, which is an orange wire, a Verify orange wire, it's a 5-volt signal, right? Well, I know from Haltech experience that's, you know, pin A9, and typically all your 5 volts are orange. So basically I go to my 36 pin connector, the A connector, and pin 9 is orange. So I'll validate, yep, that's orange. There's a little number on the back that says 9. So I just, you know, touch that post, grab my other set of lead. If my meter didn't power off on me, it did. And, you know, just a test saying we're working, right? So pin A9, pin pedal 6, and she worky. And then I just went pin by pin, line by line, and checked all those different things. So be mindful when you're building a harness that if you don't double, triple check your work, you're going to end up going back in here and chasing gremlins. Ask me how I know. I did that on a GTR pedal install. Actually, it was my own pedal install, and there was a wire that was essentially backfeeding. So it was, instead of reading the distance or the difference between the 5 volts on pedal position and accelerator position, they were both matching. So it was dropping a pedal fault and making the you know, throttle body just default to nothing. Yeah, it was pretty crappy, but it wasn't in my initial wiring, but technically it was, because that pin was shared to something else and I didn't run it just dedicated. So whatever it was I was linked into, instead of literally just tapping into that wiring, much like you would share a signal ground or a 5-volt sensor wire or something like that, this other particular wire it was doing multiple things, or at least it could do multiple things, and I needed to isolate it to just the pedal. So I don't remember offhand exactly what pin that was, but you know, by chance you plug this kit in and all of a sudden your you know, throttle body fails calibration and it's telling you something to that effect, it's probably what it is. You know, there's a wire connected that shouldn't be connected. All right, well, I guess with that, I'm going to figure out where I want to mount this thing, and then yeah, get her stuffed in the car. So the last other thing that I really wanted to talk about, you know, which is always a pain in the butt, but you get this ECU plug that goes to here, and that's going to be your CAN low, CAN high signal, and then it's got that little red and black coming off there that's telling you looking for a ground, and a switch 12 volts. So when you turn the power to the car on, that works. Well, this little guy is going to connect to our WB1, which is pretty important that it gets that dedicated 12 volts. Basically, during the first startup, it's going to pull a lot of power to get the O2 sensor up to temp. If you are trying to share like ECU power or something like that, I mean, I hear a lot of people say it can be done. I just look at giving it a dedicated, 12 volt source, inside the loom somewhere that's not the dedicated switch 12 volt to the ECU, and that way your controller can function. So I've left the pigtail the actual length that it came. I have some shorter one of these in stock. It just really depends on where I'm going to mount this. So I haven't made a bracket yet, but I'm looking at in that footwell where the factory ECU would go. This car had a Power FC installed, and it was installed, very JDM, I'll say that. So what I'm looking to do is basically just install this in a position that's easy to get to, easy to deal with. I'd even thought about, using some 3M tape and just kind of connecting this to right here, leaving room for the connector for the tuning cable, but oftentimes I like to attach that permanent and then route it through the car, so it's in there. You don't have to worry about pulling kick panels apart and trim panels out to get the ECU connected. So as of right now, everything is nice and trim, tight, and proper. I've checked all of my wiring, so now it's a matter of just get it in the car, get it tucked, route these harnesses over to the pedal in the interior and then into the engine bay for the drive-by-wire. It's a bit lengthy, but again, you'd rather have more than less. So in a perfect world, if I had the engine already when I was making this, I would have shortened this harness from the back. So plug it in, route it the nice way, and tuck it. Well, thankfully there's not a lot of craziness going on under this dash. I'll be able to just pull the excess through to the interior and tie it out of the way so that it's not a fault or a nuisance. So I'm not a big fan of connections on top of connections, so even though I've already soldered in connections and everything is permanent here, I don't want to shorten it, break it, solder in a whole bunch more stuff. One, it's extra work and manpower, but also it's like break, all the way to the plug. So I'm just adding fault points. I could talk about solder and all that nonsense, and yeah, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Just not gonna do it. So yeah, stay tuned. All right, so something I said in the earlier part of the video I want to clear up. So this is the adapter plug and play harness from Haltech, HT141329, and it supports the Series 7 and 8 RX-7, so the FDs that are twin turbo or single turbo conversions. And what I was talking about was in the directions, it gives you this little jumper pinout so basically with your Series 7, Series 8 twin turbo or Series 7, Series 8 single turbo. Well, thinking that the other one was going to require the same thing, it kind of dawned on me, wait a minute, it's only a Series 6 and it has its own part number, 141328. So when I opened that up to the very first page where the other one would have had jumper data, it just goes and talks about where to get your base map from. Yeah, so there is no need to mess around with pins and jumpers and stuff in the Series 6, which makes perfect sense because it's Series 6 single turbo or twin turbo. So happy day. All right, well, with that, now I've already validated all my other stuff. I can stuff her in the car, and then it comes, like I said, air temp sensor. Cool.